Before we wander on into the episode, I just want to make sure that everyone goes out there and hits up the YouTube, check out the Spotify, check out Apple, wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast, is to go down, like it, subscribe, hit the bell if it's YouTube. Make sure you're getting those reminders. We do put these out every week. So make sure you do all that. It helps us out. And in the long run, we can make better things. So again, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Him to clink will ask if he has a drink.
How we doing?
Good. Do you have a drink?
Hold up. How long have you had that thing on your face?
Since beginning of August.
Since
Beginning of
Australia.
August.
That's
You
Australia.
lost a bet, huh?
No, everyone my
In
age
Australia.
had a mustache and a mullet down there. So I was like, I got to get one. So I did the mustache.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's a glorious mustache. Like for mustaches, it's top tier. It's just like, yeah, because you got the curls. The curls.
Yeah.
That was something you don't see that every day.
He
Are you
bought the
trying to
wax.
go? Are you gonna try and go for a full curl?
I can almost I can get the wax out and it gets like a nice curl, but yeah, like all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you a monocle. We'll get you a top hat. We'll get you a whole thing.
back to the 20s, 1920s.
Pass.
Exactly. 1920s. That's what we're going to be rocking here.
Yeah.
So that was the look in Australia.
Yeah. Every 20-year-old guy had, and it wasn't even a good mullet. Like they would just shave their sides of their head, rock it with a mustache.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you say it like that? Like, were you going out to clubs and that's just all you saw?
That's all I saw like walking around the streets too.
Huh.
And the one guy I like interacted with for a while, he same look, mustache mullet, but he was just like my age. It was just they follow a lot of TikTok, like American influencers. So I think they see that and they're like, oh, let's do that. And then they start their own trend. But they're kind of behind. I feel like that was like us in high school going the mullet look.
Maybe. I mean, they're at least all the Australians I've met are very hipstery.
Yeah, that I did see that.
So, that's a vibe if you want to go, if you want to rock with that. I'm not trying to talk too much down on Australia.
The whole podcast, shit on
Yeah, the whole time we're
Australia.
just gonna talk mad shit about
Yeah.
Australia.
As this episode is about Australia.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're just gonna talk shit about it the whole time.
Do you have a drink?
No, I'm in
No,
bed.
you don't need one. That's fine. Because we'll get this thing started. We'll get this thing started off right.
There you go. I don't know what that was, but
Clink.
you're all blurred. Clink.
It's a cup of pens.
What's
A cup of pen.
what's up? What's up? What's up? Longtime friend of the podcast. Actually, we consider him one of the Wandering Ways peeps around. The mustache, don't let him. It really is. It's the Tyler Gray.
T-Dog,
It
as
really
they
is him.
say.
Don't let him trick you.
T-Dog, as they say.
Got a new look. Yeah. And then finally, I've been at real advertising the Wandering Ways.
Have
It's
you?
on my Instagram bot. I've been passing out stickers more.
Oh,
Yeah. So whenever I go down to Corvallis, I'm just handing out stickers to every college kid I see. And they
There
love
we go.
stickers. So
it doesn't reflect in the ratings. Corvallis, Oregon isn't popping.
well, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know who you're giving it to. If forget maybe it's this demographic. I believe our demographic is Um, it's like middle-aged women. That is our usual audience. I can tell you. Let me tell you the numbers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're 28 to 44 women. That's our demo.
8 to 44. That's not bad.
Yeah, the people who are in charge of the trips, let's be real.
Yeah, we're a big hit with the moms, is
Yeah.
kind of my guess.
Yeah, because they're the ones that are planning the trip, taking care of the kids. Where are we going? What's Glacier about? What's Yellowstone about? We need to know because the dads are like, I'm just driving the car through the park.
Yeah.
So
And now those same people want to go to Australia. So that's why we have you, Tyler, on today. Uh, I don't even know where in Australia you were.
So I was in Sydney, just literally smack dab middle of Sydney. Um, I lived in a few different suburbs throughout Sydney, which was really cool. Not on purpose, didn't want that to happen, but during my time there, they were having a housing crisis. So the lack of places was already huge. Plus, half the places that were accepting applicants would only accept women.
Oh.
So,
oh,
yeah, I think it was more like a safety thing.
Mm.
But on their app, it would left you the option just to select only women applicants. So it was like every 5 houses I would see would be a slot for a man, and then it would be like 6 roommates, 1 bathroom. And I was like,
Ah,
I'll pass.
I feel you.
But
I feel you. Well,
yeah,
you were
so
you slumming it then. You're really getting you bouncing around. That's a good time.
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you, just back up real quick. And you want to tell the Wanderers why you went down to Australia and what put you in this position because you were looking for homes every other week, it seemed like.
Yeah, definitely. So it started actually 2 years ago. Was telling myself, I'm like, I'm gonna go abroad for college, just because this is really your only opportunity. A lot of people were telling me like they regret not doing it during their college years. So I made it my goal. And I was supposed to last summer, but you got married,
Oh,
fortunately.
shocker.
Yeah. And then I had to postpone it. And then it came down to winter term of last year, and I was turning in applications and trying to figure out what I was going to do. First, I applied to go to Spain. They disbanded that program. So then my second up was Australia. Got in. I got an interview literally the day after I turned in the application from an event management company called Functionality. Great company, small company, but they did a bunch of private events around Sydney area. Even Australia, like there's a couple events in Brisbane they were doing while I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that started mid-June, and I was looking at places to stay from March. And a lot of the places also didn't accept me because you had to have an in-person inspection.
Oh.
So they just totally like were like, nope, like talk to me when you're here or talk to me after you've been here for a while. So once I got there, I started like talking to these different landlords and whatnot. And one place that would have really worked out was it was a studio apartment straight in my price range. And I couldn't go visit it because the only inspection times were during my workday. So I sent my brother Josh, Zach's younger brother, to go to this inspection, and he slept in past the inspection. And so the place fell through. And that would have been a full 3 months of staying at one place, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise.
If for the viewers that don't know Josh, this is a very Josh thing to do.
Yeah. He's
He was more worried about his vacation time in Sydney than helping Tyler find a house.
yeah, he got mad at me for going to work. So that
The
was
whole yeah,
a
the whole
big
reason.
thing.
But then he also cut his
How
hand. Josh
how
cut his
was it a blessing in disguise?
I because I really thought staying in those different suburbs, you got to experience different lifestyles in Sydney. Because Sydney itself is pretty much just a downtown. Like if you took the actual limits of Sydney, you're only gonna find skyscrapers, big apartments and whatnot. Then you hit these little rural suburbs, and I stayed in Randwick, and Randwick was surrounded by these luxurious parks with these horse tracks and these pristine universities. While you go to Waverton, where it was the last place I stayed, and it was this older neighborhood. Like the houses were built in the early 1900s, and it was more of a family feel. There was another place called Lewisham, which was more Portland vibe. So I was walking around, and you saw these people wearing like just the craziest outfits. Yet you go over to Waverton and everyone's dressed professionally, going to their 9 to 5, while these people
Interesting.
were working more creative jobs, working in event management, marketing, kind of. I got to meet some people, which was really cool. But I felt like that was the best way to immerse myself in Sydney and the people of Sydney, because it's not that big either. Like, well, it is big. It's 5 million people, but Australia itself is very small.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a good way to explore Australia in such a short time.
Right.
Yeah, that is kind of cool to be able to have the different suburb kind of experiences, I guess. You get to really see the different people of Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was also like cool because Sydney was pretty vast. Well, like the surrounding area. And being able to live in Waverton for two weeks allowed me to go to northern Sydney and the beaches up in northern Sydney and the different parks as well. Like there's little national parks throughout Sydney, and those were probably like 40 minutes to an hour away. While if I was in South Sydney, in Lewisham area, that would have been close to 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
So I got to spend more time in these areas and just explore more throughout my whole trip.
Well, you said beaches, so was there quite a few beaches in Sydney, or is like the whole town beaches?
Oh, yeah. So all you heard was, "Oh, I wish it was a summer. Like me and my family would just be at the beach right now. We would just be at the beach right now. We leave work to go to the beach." And then you look at a map of Sydney, and it's like every little like suburb has their own beach and their own cove. And I went to Bondi Beach a lot, which was easily the most popular beach in Sydney, and it's worldwide like known.
Kind of like Waikiki in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have their lifeguards that run this TikTok. And a lot of people follow it. Santina, Josh's lady friend, follows it. And I kept going back to that beach just because of the culture. Just because that was a very relaxed, it felt like Southern California, where it was like, oh, like just walk around in your swim trunks, kind of just go get ice cream, go get pizza while you watch the waves. Like there was even a Ferris wheel. They brought out an ice rink during July, and it was probably an inch of water on top of the ice.
Oh, just from
Yeah, but there was probably like 40 kids on it. But it was just such a like a lively area that like I just kept going back to it. And there was also another beach, Coogee, which was about an hour south from Bondi. But there's this walk. It's called Bondi to Coogee Walk, and you probably see 100 people on that walk daily. And I don't even know how many would be there today, being it's summer now. But those were just two of their major beaches. There's definitely a lot of hidden gems, like one called Milk Beach up in one of the richer areas of Sydney, but you can watch the sun. It's popular to go to watch the sunset, and you can watch the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbor Bridge in the background, which is
Oh,
very,
cool.
yeah, they have a lot of beautiful scenic areas.
Yeah, I have an athlete who's Australian, and he mentioned the beachy kind of vibe. He's like kind of from more northern Australia. So he's not in, I think he's in Sydney right now, just chilling, but he's gonna go like home. And he talks about it's gonna be like, I think he says it's gonna be like 75 there because it's just gonna be warm, like just beach. He's like, you're not gonna wear shoes, it's gonna be just like
Mhm.
tank tops and just I was kind of jealous because I was like, that's kind of the life, being on the that beach style.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially
Every,
like Hawaii, where like when you're in Hawaii and you're like, this is January, this is December, this is July, you can just enjoy it. Like when you're on those equator ones. So like this one's interesting too, because you're saying you were there in the winter. So, but you said you still were wearing swim trunks.
yeah.
So it was warm.
Yeah, I even had the opportunity to swim in the sea right there.
You
Uh,
had the opportunity or you did swim?
oh, I did swim.
Okay.
I did swim. Yeah, sorry. Business talk.
You're right.
The word opportunity a lot. Uh,
I could have. I had the opportunity, but I never did it.
yeah, no, me and Maya went, and
Nice.
it was mid 70s, probably one of the warmer days I was there, and the beach was full, and there was people surfing, and there was this tiny section between these two flags on Bondi that people could swim at. Every other place was reserved for surfboarders, but
Oh, wow.
this place was packed for about maybe like 50 yards into the ocean with people just swimming and diving into the waves. And like it was nice because it was one of those beaches that are kind of gradual, so people could stand out above the water 50
Okay.
yards away.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Those
definitely.
are cool when you can find those. We did that in Hawaii with Karen, basically. Just standing in the water, talking, hanging out.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. I
Mhm.
do. Uh, did you try surfing?
No, no. Yeah, I know. I should have definitely. It was like at the beginning of my trip, I was so worried about housing and
Mm,
even Josh being there. It took up the first 2 weekends I was there. And then after that, it was like, oh, like I want to go to these national parks or I want to go see these markets on the weekends. And then I was so busy and you only had so much light too because it was winter there.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So I had from about like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. So about 8 hours or 10 hours to get everything done. And even then it wasn't enough. And
Uh,
I'm gonna go back. Like
Yeah.
I've made that a goal of mine to at least go back within the next like 10 years.
Right.
there you go. Cool markets. You said you went to markets.
Yeah.
I love
So
a good market. That's why I ask.
yeah. So they got a more they're more permanent because the weather's so nice down there.
Right.
There's a lot of farmers markets, and two of the more popular ones I went to was the Glebe markets. This one was definitely more hipster. It was closer to downtown Sydney, and you would get a lot of clothing and like designers. So you got jewelry, or you got these
Right.
people who would redesign clothes, a lot of artists, obviously food. You get live music there. And it was something new every week too, because I probably went there 3 times and each booth was different every time I went there. There would occasionally be that same booth at each week, but it was something new and I really enjoyed that environment. Like I went back 3 times. I showed 3 different groups of people I was with that market because it was so well put together and it was in such a great area, great people. The next one was the Bondi Market. This was at a school right by Bondi Beach, and it was more high end. I ended up buying 2 t-shirts there. They're both like $50, which was
Oh, wow.
crazy. But the material so nice. And it just resembled kind of that market itself. Like
Lot of
Bondi was
there.
definitely a more bougie area.
Hey, I spent $200 on an Icelandic sweatshirt.
Hey, yeah. And you're the only
Hey,
one in or Montana that has
I
that.
buy Lululemon stuff, so like I have nowhere to talk.
Right? It's fine. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like it resembled this market. Like it was a quality kind of, you saw a lot of older adults there doing
Right.
their shopping, which was cool. It was definitely that goes with the different vibes of the suburbs, different kind of lifestyles. Because another place I visited was Patty's Market.
Okay.
And this was in a building, but it was it was definitely like a culture shock because it was more of a Southeast Asian community that started this, and same type of idea where the vendors would buy their spots, but these were more permanent. And it was a lot of this fake, like Louis Vuitton, fake Gucci, get your Sydney tourist gifts.
We went to me and Matt when we were in San Jose during the Stanford powwow. The San Jose like flea market is spit
Yeah.
image what you're saying, where it's like, oh, they have like storage units that they can like open up, and it's like buy your cell phone cases. Just
Yep.
a
Yeah.
storage unit full of them.
But I thought it was really cool just because it was so much
Right.
and people actually like were buying this stuff. And it was like, all right. And I went back there a couple times just to obviously buy some gifts, but uh there was also like your food markets too. There was one in Merrickville, it was a farmers market. That's another thing I would love to touch on is the food.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I have one question involving food for you. Um, did you try Vegemite?
yes.
What'd you
Oh,
think of it? What'd you think of it?
so bad.
You don't
So
like it?
I did not like it. No.
I have no clue what that is.
So that same athlete who's from Australia, he loves the stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, loves the stuff. He gets a jar. His parents will ship him jars of it. He takes it on road trips, like he takes it everywhere. And so I asked him to try it like this last year, and it's actually the second time I've tried it, and it's unique. I remember the first time not liking it. The second time I was like, I think I could actually get behind it, and so I meant to ask him to bring me back some Vegemite because it's actually really good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. High in vitamins and like that's all I saw was vitamins. But still, it I put it on a piece of bread. Supposedly I ate it wrong because you're supposed to like put butter on it or jelly or something and then eat it. But it was so bitter and strong. I couldn't even like I spit out the bread because I just couldn't eat it. But
Yeah, fair.
but they
I've eaten bad things.
You ate shark, Mar. I've seen him.
Yeah, the when we were in Iceland, I ate fermented shark, and
yeah.
that is hands down the worst thing I've ever eaten in my life. And I was like trying to put on a happy face for the gal that like gave me the free sample of it, and I'm sitting there going like, "Yeah, mm."
It
It
was
was
bad.
bad.
Yeah. I ate octopus while I was down there.
Oh,
Oh,
Little
how's that?
little octopi. Probably the same as the fermented shark, where it was really chewy. It took me 4 minutes to actually eat and swallow this octopus. And yeah, I was sick. I didn't eat seafood for probably a couple months after that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because no, it scarred me. I didn't eat for the rest of the day. I was disgusted. And it's not
Oh,
because it was just the way it was served. It was raw, it pretty much. It was very like because I guess when it's fried, it's really good,
yeah.
but no, no. And I
Yeah.
got
I remember that fermented shark. I bought a hot dog later to get the taste out of my mouth because it was when you get a bad thing, you're just like, nah, I'm not about it.
yeah, it sits with you. Um, but back to the food. So when I was down there, I was obviously just eating like basic meals, trying to because I was moving so much. So it was a lot of like I had my peanut butter and jelly on my right hand while I would buy some new stuff occasionally, but I would buy these packs of oranges, about 8 oranges. And after like 4 days of having these oranges, they would start to grow mold. And I was like, what? Like, this is weird. And I would buy these other fruits and stuff, and like they would start to get old real quick on me. And I was like, why is this happening? But it's because they don't put these pesticides and what is it called when you leave them on the shelf for um
Just like the shelf life,
the shelf life.
the best by date, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it adds to the
Preservatives.
preservatives. Yes, there's not all these preservatives and extra stuff in there, and I was like, holy shit! Like I had some of the best oranges in my life there. Like if I could go back, I would buy 10 bags of those oranges and
So they
just
all could go bad on the plane ride home.
right. But they were so good. Yeah, and just all the food there, like eating for how much I ate down there, for how much I ate out, like I should have put on 40 pounds, but I like felt healthy. I felt like I could actually move and not feel groggy and sick.
This is such a common thing that I've actually heard from people because I work with college students.
Mhm.
And I work at a small college. Like a lot of these athletes I work with, like they'll go study abroad in their off season. And I've had two athletes go to Italy and they've had gluten intolerance to where if they eat pasta and like bread and stuff, they feel like shit. But they've gone to Italy. Italy's known for pasta and they eat the shit out of pasta and they have no issues whatsoever. They feel great and they don't, as they say, put on 1 million pounds from eating it. So it's wild that like even in Australia, which is a different continent, that you're getting the same it's the same vibe.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like they serve different foods either, because I would buy similar, like they had a lot of trademark issues. So they have a lot of similar companies over there, but different names. But these candies and whatnot would also have their FDA standards for Australia down there. And they just felt they tasted good. It was like real chocolate. It was real whatever I was eating. And I was just like, holy shit, this is some of the best food I've had from the same companies. But they were just complying with different standards.
Yeah. Really makes
Yeah.
you think twice about our food industry here in the States, huh?
Or yeah,
Oh,
the food, yeah, the FDA and all the regulations with that. Exactly, because you're like, oh, which is wild, honestly, because we do work with the FDA for work. I mean, this is on anti-vaping campaign, so this is a whole different arm because the FDA is this huge campus in like DC area, like they have their own like mess hall, like food area, cafeteria area. That's how big their
All the
office is.
food in the mess hall is FDA approved, if people are wondering.
I mean, it should be, right? It is the FDA. But no, because but just like the loopholes and not the loopholes, but like that was the wrong word to use. The like the protocols put into place for just to do research, like interview a
Yeah.
kid or do this or do that. I'm like, holy heck. But it also makes sense probably why some of those healthier initiatives don't get passed, because it's like you have to clear 10 freaking hoops before you even go in front of the board to get voted for or get chosen or selected. It's crazy where like, yeah, some of those European countries or like Australia and like these other places that are like, no, we do this because this is like healthy or it's the right way to do it. We just adopted it or accepted it. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm. For sure.
That's cool. Well, like what was Burger King was Hungry Jack's down there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Popular, real popular. McDonald's was McDonald's, but they called it Macca's. That was a popular
Uh,
one. Because I kept
uh,
hearing people be like, "Oh, let's go to Macca's. Let's go to Macca's." I was like, "What the hell's Macca's?"
did you try Tim Tam?
Yep. Yeah. They were
Those are a legit cookie.
yeah. I tried one on the plane over because she was like, "Oh, you want a bag of chips or a Tim Tam?" I was like, "What's a Tim Tam?" Got the Tim Tam, ate it. I was like, I gotta get a pack of these. And for pretty much the entire trip, I had a pack of Tim Tams, different flavors throughout the whole time because they're like the Oreo, where it's like
Hmm.
there's raspberry filling, cream cheese filling,
Right.
peanut butter filling. And it was so good.
You
Right.
can find them randomly in the States. You'll randomly find like a box or something of Tim Tams. I've seen them. It's very hard to find, but when you find, you feel like you hit like the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
And they
Hmm.
probably have them at like Walmart and like that the international food section, or because I've seen like at Walmart they have like the candy, kind of the international candy, and like I mean it's a small section, as well as like what's that? Cost World Market Plus,
Oh yeah.
and that one probably would have it.
Hmm.
Or online.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can find a lot of stuff online. Amazon, that's why the little arrow goes A to Z, because you can find anything A to Z.
Yeah, that is very true.
Tried to get a zebra, and it was a lot harder than that. Well, it's because ZE is after Z.
What's after Z? I didn't hear you.
No, because I tried to get a zebra, and I said that's because ZE is after Z. Can't
Oh,
get
oh, 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 oh. No, there's a lot of loot. There's a lot of stuff you got to jump through to get a zebra,
yeah.
or as I like to call it, it's a zebra.
Red tape is what that is called.
Yeah.
Not, they're just the red tape.
Did when you're down there, did you pick up any of the slang and the lingo, like words?
Um, I should have written more down, but one of the big ones was reckon. So
Reckon.
I reckon that.
Oh, that's funny because the athlete I have says reckon all the time.
all the time. That's their think. I think this. I think that. It's
I
I
reckon.
reckon.
Yeah, yeah,
I reckon. Yeah. You hear it. I mean, you hear other people make fun of it.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I don't know what else. It was all pretty similar though, surprisingly, because of social media.
Oh,
It's all
So they
TikTok.
did use like the word fire, right? That's fire. Like I heard that from my peers. And I was just like, I turned at them. I was like, how do you know that? But that's where they're like, oh, just probably TikToks,
It's
Instagram.
like the world like that's the thing is it's so interesting to think about. There is like this world language, and part of it is our emojis and like these like terms like like American cuss words are almost in that as well, because like how like you can hear a Chinese person go like fuck, and like they mean it like that, you know what I mean? Or
yeah.
someone
Mm.
who it's like that's not even their word for that. They have a word for that it's wild.
How
Yeah.
many uh how many times did you hear him use the word cunt?
Oh my God.
They
That's
used
the
it a
one
lot.
they fucking use, dude. Oh, sorry. Oh, they, this girl that I worked with, she would say it every other sentence. And I would just be like, that's acceptable here? Like,
Yeah, you're not fired from your job.
yeah,
You're just
yeah.
calling people cunts.
It
Wow. Wow.
but yeah, yeah, definitely used a lot.
Uh, did you? I'm curious because I watched my first game on TV recently of this sport, and I don't want to spoil it until I say it because I don't want to just lead in. But did you get to go to any sporting events for one? But two, did you happen to go to any Australian football games? Or as I like to call it, it's a game of clusterfuck on a field. It's just a bunch of people running around trying to kick a ball at a fucking wood pole.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually, while I was there, I got to go to, I think the first one I went to was the rugby game that, so I saw Australian rugby, which was really interesting because it's very fast paced. There's not a lot of strategy though. It's a lot of just toss the ball and fucking run into guys. It's kind of crazy how hard they smack each other without gear. And
That's
then
how old football used to be played.
yeah, yeah. Um, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I think I went to the FIFA soccer game next, where I saw
Oh,
Yeah, because the
France.
World Cup was there, the Women's World Cup.
I'm
Yeah,
so jealous.
yeah. But dude, the tickets sold out so quick. So
I bet.
I was fortunate enough to get a France Panama game where France just scraped Panama, but it was still very cool. And that was one of my first professional soccer games I got to see. So that was fun. And then I saw the AFL game, which was the where they bounce the ball and they try and kick it through those posts.
It's there's just a bunch of people in this oval field running around like crazy, and then all of a sudden they just like kick a ball.
Yeah, it's wild. It was
Yeah,
probably the most entertaining, honestly, because I didn't know what was happening, and I would just see this guy being thrown in the air to catch this ball, and then the next guy just boots it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's such an odd game because if the ball goes out of bounds, the referee throws it in.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, there's just it's a lot of weird things where you're just like, well, like who? How did someone come up with this game?
Well,
Weird.
I bet people look at American football though almost
Oh,
more than
100%.
you.
Why are the guys with the stripes touching the ball and setting it down? And he's holding his hand up. What is the two? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
And
Yeah.
all the penalties too. Like, oh,
Uh,
That's pass interference.
yeah.
Honestly, though, honestly.
In need of LED lights for your vehicle? Look no further than our friends at Oxteo, keeping our vehicles well lit while on the road while looking for Bigfoot. Make sure to use code RUGARU, RUGARU, on your next set of LED lights. From snakes to bears, the outdoorsman must be prepared. That is why when you experience rivers like the San Juan or the Yellowstone, you must bring a blue ribbon net. Handcrafted and biodegradable, these classic wooden fishing nets are all you need while on the river. Make sure to use code RUGARU10 when checking out at Blue Ribbon Nets. Again, the code is RUGARU10. RUGARU10.
All right.
yeah. So
Shoot nature, right?
Australia, cool. Lots of cool shit. A lot of shit that will kill you. But that's a good segue. I love doing this with guests because they get to see my favorite part of the show. It's cool shit in nature time. So I've got two as per usual,
I
lining up.
I like these with the guests. I like when they are involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, this first one is just my weekly propaganda to remind you, Zach, that we should go to Patagonia.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is a video of just a bunch of quick clippets of Patagonia,
Wow.
because Patagonia is really cool. I have a question that is kind of related to this for you later, Tyler. And
Mhm.
so you just I gotta remember the Patagonia question. And then we'll be big chilling there. But
Big
Um,
chillin' in Chile, as he says.
I don't think that's what they say there.
Well, it's Chile, the Chile travel. That's where the video comes from, is that Instagram group. Which, like, yeah,
Oh,
I know, because I was on the work call. What today's Wednesday, Tuesday, with this guy, and we were talking about places to go. He brought up Japan, and then I brought up Patagonia, and he's like, "That's like another place," and I was like, "Yeah, Japan for me. Like those are two
yeah,
places that are just like put them up there."
Mhm.
100%. Next one. This one's just bears catching some fish. I mean, this is always cool, especially when you see them catch it in their mouth, like the one guy did.
Yeah.
Well, like you see bears in like Yellowstone and stuff, and you people kind of like the lousy dumb bear, they're like clumsy kind of like people kind of assume that kind of stuff. The fact that like they can stand on a waterfall,
Hmm.
like you go try and stand right there, you're going to fall right down, right? They can stand on a waterfall and catch a fish in their mouth or with their paw. You tell me that ain't cool.
Yeah.
That isn't an apex predator. You know what I mean? Like people like they kind of doubt them, and it's like, nah, they can do this.
Hmm.
It is cool to watch it live. I've been fortunate enough to see this in real life. Actually, this spot too that the video's taken. So it is actually pretty legit to see.
I
Um, I don't know if they have these in Australia. I don't know. Do they have bears? I I mean, I have a
Uh,
lot of shit that will kill you. I
Hey, if
know
it's a
that much,
bear,
but I don't think bears are on that list.
if they have a bear, it's a black bear. I'll tell you that.
yeah. No, they don't have a bear. I think honestly,
Koalas, come on, koala bear.
well, that's a marsupial.
I know.
Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. And they
but
got chlamydia.
I honestly think the largest animal there is the red kangaroo. You might have to fact check me, but
I'm Googling it right now.
I'm pretty sure it's like the red kangaroo.
It's a
A lot of
hundred.
them.
It's 100% bearless.
Uh-huh.
Really? Not even a black bear.
Don't.
They used to
Probably at
have
the zoo.
these like huge like wombat marsupials that used to roam Australia, but they're extinct now. But I went into the
Yeah.
Australian Zoo and saw one, and it was probably bigger than it was about the same size as a grizzly, which is really
Did you go
cool.
to the Sydney Zoo?
I went to the Taronga Zoo, which is the famous one that overlooks all of Sydney. I
Mhm.
went to the Sydney Zoo and like aquarium, and there was another one with the Wax Museum. I didn't go to the Wax Museum, but all three of those are connected.
Did
And then
they must have had a nice thing about and RIP to the great Steve Irwin.
I I
They
didn't
really didn't.
I didn't see anything in Sydney.
My dad was saying how he like looked out for he was looking for that stuff, and even when they had like Australian like influential people, he didn't make the list.
Really?
Yeah, and like his kids and stuff run like the zoo and stuff down there.
Yeah, yeah. His kids pretty much do the same thing.
hmm
Go
Did
Yeah.
you
ahead.
see his
Sorry.
kids?
No,
Uh,
they were located up in the northern part of Australia.
Oh, that's where they're at. Maybe there's more up there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Is that Brisbane?
Yeah, that's Brisbane. The city, the
okay.
biggest city over there.
Yeah,
It's not Victoria, New South Wales, and then Queensland, I think. I'm pretty
Queensland.
sure. Queensland. But
Hmm.
yeah.
So I think that sounds right.
That would make more
Mhm.
sense. I mean, it sucks. I mean, the goat.
Yeah.
Right.
RIP to a real one.
Like you have your Mount Rushmore, right? Your Mount Rushmore. They always say that with athletes, right? We got Smokey the Bear, Steve
Yeah,
Irwin,
yeah, yeah.
David Attenborough,
Yeah.
and Wandering Ways podcast. There's your four.
It's like we said last time, it's just the Kelsey brothers with like this weird nature thing.
Well, Tyler's got the mustache.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. That's why we keep you around.
I'll shave my head. I'll go buzz.
So you said you want to go back. You want to go back as a fan, or would you go back to live?
Honestly, it's tough because it's like my roots are so strong here because it's a far flight. Like it's 14, 15 hours. So it
Yeah.
would definitely be like a once a year type of thing. So if I would live there. Like if I suggested to someone if they wanted to go live internationally, I'd be like live in Australia for like a year. Like you're not gonna regret it. You're gonna love it. I would consider it if one day something changed in my life, but I would definitely visit. Definitely visit.
I've low key thought about uh looking into trying to like live and work over there.
Yeah. I you can one thing I thought that was great about Sydney, and I bet it's similar in the other bigger cities, is their public transportation was phenomenal.
That's what.
Buses, trains, light rails, all you, even ferries,
Mhm.
all you had to do was tap your debit card and then you can go wherever you want and then tap it again once you get off, records it, charges you, but it was such a small fee. And
Yeah.
I got everywhere in the city. I got two
Yeah.
hours out of the city.
That
Yeah,
is
didn't you say you?
traveling like abroad, or even like getting up to like Vancouver, Canada. Everyone does their public transits system way better than the US.
Well, that's
We,
Now,
part of
to be
it.
fair, the East Coast might be better than like out west here. I
West
haven't
Coast.
experienced the East Coast, but from even people what I've heard talk, like Europe, I mean Europe you can get around with by train if or bus if you really want. You can go country to country, train to train, that type of deal.
You really can. Japan, the quick rail.
Yeah.
I think low key, that's kind of what like Musk was trying to do with that Hyperloop in Vegas. When you talk about like Tesla doing that stuff, where really, you look at the U.S. and the infrastructure. If we were to put trains like, if we were to, I honestly think you look at Gen X, Gen Z, they don't need much. They need an outlet. They need Wi-Fi connection, right? So to travel, if you could present an affordable, quick way to travel that is comparable to an airplane or quicker than an airplane, if not better on the environment than an airplane, like a fast train, I think it would. I think in 2023, 2024, 2025, that younger generation would accept that.
Yeah. I saw a funny meme. It was like, why are trains so expensive? You're already going there, just drop me off.
yeah, that's
They're
funny.
good though. I mean, we hear the one here in Wolf Point all the time now because it just rolls through town. But like Billings had train, like they're everywhere. People, we don't realize them. That's one of the industries that built America. And I think when you look at like the West, like you're saying, and like public transport and where public transport was, it was when the automobile was coming out. And the automobile, then that freedom of I can go wherever, I can drive wherever, especially
Mhm.
out west where there's so much space. So, but that's
Yeah.
not, same with Australia. Don't they got a train that goes across Australia?
City to city.
Okay.
I'm thinking more coastline.
It's just
You
around.
could you could get from Melbourne to their capital, Canberra, to Sydney to Brisbane from train if you wanted to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely there's not a lot in between though.
Yeah.
Australia, size of United States, population 25 million.
Right. Well, and that's where
Yeah.
I want to get into that back country in the middle there because you have like that big rock. I think you see more of the indigenous stuff. And then you get into those national parks. I mean, yeah, that's where the animals that will kill you are, more so probably. But I want to get into it, man. I want to see this world.
Yeah.
That kind of brings me to the question I had. Uh, you've now traveled to Australia abroad internationally.
Mhm.
Do you want to go other places? Do you have the travel bug? A lot of people, they'll travel one place and they'll be like, I gotta go to more. I want to know, does the not real Tyler Gray want to go elsewhere?
Right now, I'm actually planning a trip with my girlfriend to go to Denmark
I was
next.
gonna say Denver.
Oh, Denver, yeah.
We're going to
Denmark
Denver next week, man.
next fall or September.
Yeah, Mark's been there,
There you go.
Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, he's been there.
That'd be cool. Because she's gonna do her little study abroad thing. And I was like, I'll come out there 2 weeks. And she was like, we don't even have to go to Denmark. We can go to like France or
All right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in that area. Germany was another one.
Yeah, Germany's just south of Denmark.
Hmm.
We'll call up Vince. We'll call up Vince. We'll get you hooked up.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure Vince. I'm sure he would. Vince is that cool of a dude.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Vince is the best.
We need to
Yeah.
go
But
see him.
no,
He's funny.
I wanted to save that question for the last. That's kind of why so I wanted to get in before we ran out of time because it is time for our final words. And Tyler, as you are the guest, we love our guests going first. So, final words, my guy.
So I got two things. First, if you want to kill ignorance, go travel, go grow.
Yeah,
It's
how's it going?
you won't regret it. And the second thing is, if you want some free money, join a fantasy league with these two. You'll just whoop them. You'll keep collecting their money.
I mean, Mark's 3-time champ, Tyler, and
Hey,
he's
that's in the
beat you in the
past.
championship. You didn't
That's,
beat him in the championship.
that's in the past. New year.
Oh man. What was that quote I sent you, Mark? What was the one? I sent it to you on Instagram.
Oh,
And I was
that's gonna be my final words
Oh,
today. I was
good, good,
gonna
good,
because
good, good.
I wanted to sneak it in there to see if you caught it.
Good. I wanted to bring it up as he said that quote. So good. I'm glad you have it. Um, for my final words, everybody, I want to thank Tyler for being on. Thank you. Having guests on is really great. It's always fun to have these conversations and just see where they go. Definitely, like you said, go see Australia, go travel, go see the world. It's gonna be great. There are great things out there to see. Like I keep saying it. I'll go. I would if someone bought me the plane ticket to Iceland, I'd be back on the plane tomorrow. Um, if you bought me a plane ticket to Antarctica, I'd be on the plane tomorrow. Alaska. Fuck, I'm driving to Rapid City tomorrow. The good old Black Hills. We're going for a basketball tournament, so
Awesome.
should be good. Hey, Matt Buddy will be there. It's always a great
Oh, there
time.
you go.
But go ahead, Reverend. I'll finish it off with you.
Reverend's final words of wisdom, stay beautiful, everybody. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you, and can't tell you how much I appreciate you, Tyler, for coming on, talking about your experience in Australia. I love hearing people's travel stories because travel, yeah, like you said, I loved it. Beat ignorance, you travel. My Reverend quote is you cannot see reflection in your reflection in boiling water. Similarly, you cannot see the truth in a state of anger. When the water is calm, clarity comes.
Wow. Beautiful.
Banger.
So, with that being said, though, peace out, everybody.
Bye.